The vocabulary for this unit has to do with quadratic functions. So really quick, let's put some images to this. This guy right here is called a parabola graph. We get parabolas graphs by graphing quadratic functions. This is the standard quadratic function. I like to call him the mother function because from all other quadratic functions, they come from this guy. Okay, this one is not exactly x squared. It's changed a little bit. If I were to make a table for this one, this is what you would get. You plug in a -2, you square it, you get a 4. You plug in a -1, you square it, you get a 1, and so on and so forth. When I graph it, it looks like this. -2, 4 would be right there, and then -1, 1 would be right there, and that's because the first number is the x-axis, and the second number is the y-axis. So you start right here at the origin. That's the very middle of the graph. I count left 2, 1, 2. And the next number is a 4. So I'm going to count up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how I get that guy. And this one's only -1 and then +1. That's why we go left 1, then up 1. So we graph the rest of the points, and this is what we get. You see, we got the same shape as this guy over here. The only difference is this one is centered at the origin. That's because this is the standard quadratic function, also known as the mother function. The origin over here is not where the vertex is, just like this one. Anyways, I just dropped another academic word which I haven't talked about yet. So let's talk about our some academic words that we need to know for this quadratic function. First of all, this guy is the vertex. He is a special point. He's the only point on the graph that is at the complete bottom or the complete top, depending on the quadratic function. Then we have the y-intercept. He crosses the x or the y-axis. I have a graph with no numbers, but I do know that the x is 0. That's the only way to stay on the x or the y-axis is if the x is 0. I don't know what the y is, so I wrote the y. Then we have these points right here. These are your x-intercepts. We know for the x-intercepts, the y is 0. I don't know what the x's are for this one right now, but I do know that the y is 0. So I put x for the x's. Let's see, we got any more? Oh yeah, we have this dotted line right down the middle, and it's always right down the middle. This guy is known as the axis of symmetry. It's called the axis of symmetry because the two sides of the line, they should be mirroring each other. My line is kind of crooked, but you get the point. All right, then we have coordinates. The coordinate for the vertex is going to be the axis of symmetry for the x, and then for the y value, that is known as the max or the min of the graph. So for this point right here, is this point the maximum or the minimum point for this graph? And when I say that, you got to think of the y numbers, okay? Can you pick a max y number here, or can you pick a min number? This one, since it's at the bottom of our parabola, is going to be our min. Okay, now sometimes I abbreviate axis of symmetry using AOS, just so you know. And whenever you guys have to write the axis of symmetry, you have to write it as an equation. Okay, so it should always be x equals what? And it's always the x that's right in the middle of our parabola. Okay, or you can say it's where the dotted line, the axis of symmetry crosses the x-axis.